Educational content only, not financial advice. Consult a financial professional before investing. Never risk money you can't afford to lose. Welcome to the AI Investing Showdown. I've always wondered, can AIs trade better than humans? And which AI is best for investing? So we're going to find out in this 1 month long series where I'm giving $10,000 to 6 different AI models, $60,000 in total of simulated money, and letting them pick, adjust and rebalance their US stock and ETF portfolios over the course of 4 weeks. Every Monday, I'll update their capital and let AI change its allocations for the week ahead. Performance will be tracked weekly on Yahoo Finance to find out the true AI investment portfolio champion. If AI is smarter than humans in language, vision, and games, can it outthink the market? Hit subscribe and stay tuned for this month-long experiment. So here are some of the rules for this particular experiment. Rule number 1, equal starting capital. Every single AI begins with $10,000 on week 1. Rule number 2, weekly rebalancing. So at the start of every week, Monday market open, I'll supply each AI with its current portfolio value. They may adjust, rebalance, buy or sell any positions to optimize their return over the next 7 days. Rule number 3, US equities only, so only common stocks, ETFs on the US markets only. Rule number 4, simultaneous orders. All 6 AIs submit their trades for the coming week before Monday's open, and all executions will be occurring on the same time to keep everything fair. Rule number 5, a 4-week timeline. We'll repeat this weekly process for 4 consecutive weeks, and every Friday I'll publish a performance report. Rule number 6, transparency. Every trade and portfolio update is tracked with Yahoo Finance. There's no hidden tweaks, no manual overrides. So here we have the contestants. We have Claude, usually good for coding, but we'll test its deep analysis skills to see how good of an investor it is. Second, we have ChatGPT, a no-brainer in the world of AI. We'll be using the latest free model. We'll also be using Grok, relatively new. Will be interesting to see how this performs. I'm expecting big things from Perplexity as it can scan real-time news, so looking forward to seeing how this one performs. We also have DeepSeek, a relatively new AI model that's just come out. We're also going to use this as a wildcard as it's completely free. And finally, we're using Google's LLM, Gemini 2.5, leveraging massive data sets. I am expecting big things from this one. So here's the prompts we'll be using. And to keep everything fair, every AI model will get exactly the same prompt and exactly the same weekly instructions as well. Now, if you want to use this prompt for yourself, you can grab it from our website in the description below and modify it to your own experimentation as well. So, and if you do so, let us know in the comments on how you're doing in your own experiment. That'll be very interesting. Now, I don't want to go into the prompt too much as essentially it just follows the rules as we've mentioned before. I have added some requirements, so I've asked each AI to provide a brief rationale for each position, which will be interesting to see. And in the output formats, I've asked for a table format, which is easier to scan for everyone to see their positions and also to provide a short summary of an overall strategy of their portfolio. So we have all 6 LLMs with exactly the same prompt. I've placed every single one in all of these LLMs at the moment. So we're going to just run every single one and see what happens. See if the actual AI actually does what I say, or if it doesn't, actually, it'll be quite interesting to see. So it seems like everyone is running at the moment. Some are actually summarizing what they're doing, rationalizing what they're doing as well. So, and some are quicker than the others as well. I think Claude might be actually done, it seems like. I'm not too sure. That's really quick actually for Claude. Let's have a look. Just go scroll down. Yeah, I think Claude is actually done. It's got a summary table here. And yeah, that was very quick from Claude actually. Quickest is Claude. I think ChatGPT may be done as well. But I'm just gonna have a look. Yeah, ChatGPT does look like it's also done as well. DeepSeek still rationalizing what it's supposed to be doing. Yeah, ChatGPT seems to have done its table as well. Allocated scale 10,000, yeah. So, and it's got a strategy summary as well. Grok is still working. Perplexity, what's happened here? So I think Perplexity has not fully done what I've actually asked for in the prompt. It's just, I think I will have to come back to this. Yeah, I absolutely think Perplexity has not done anything actually. Google Gemini, yeah, I can see a table. Pretty good so far. Grok is quite slow. It was the slowest of all. It was still running when most of the AI is actually finished as well. So seems to me it probably has got a table. I'll check all of these later and I'll give you a summary of each one. So here's Claude's output, and one thing to note is that Claude cannot find real-time data. So all the prices you see here are actually incorrect. So what I had to do was provide the current prices to Claude, and it effectively just recalculated everything. I did make one mistake with one ticker in terms of price, and Claude corrected that mistake and recalculated everything into the portfolio and kept everything under 10k as well. I did have to ask it to go under 10k because the original output was just over 10k. But essentially this is its portfolio strategy summary. So it's very aggressive in AI and technology. So we will focus on chip manufacturers here and perhaps data centers as well. And the data seems a bit out of date because it does mention something about iPhone 16 and its AI features. So it'll be interesting to see if this strategy actually works, because it seems slightly out of date because we're on iPhone 17 at the moment. So we'll see how this goes and then we'll come back to it in 1 week. So this is ChatGPT's output, and very good in terms of like following the actual prompt. It's given us the table, it's given us a rationale for every single ticker and position that is actually wanted as well, and then it scaled it to under 10,000 as well, which is very good. However, similar to Claude, it doesn't have real-time prices, so I had to provide those real-time prices to ChatGPT, and it's actually recalculated everything to a total allocation under 10k, and its strategy, again, very, very tech and AI heavy as well, semiconductor heavy as well. So looking at various chip manufacturers, various sort of like data centers as well, anything to do with AI and chips. It's really focused on this area as well. But essentially it followed the plan very, very well and the prompt very well. So here's Grok's output, and no issues in terms of following the prompt. It actually followed the prompt very well. It provided the table, it provided the rationale. The only thing I had to give it again was the real-time prices, and it kept everything under 10k, which is very good. So it follows the instructions extremely well. It has diversified. So in terms of like just AI and chips, basically is diversified into biotech, some ETFs, some healthcare areas as well, which is quite interesting. So slightly different in terms of portfolio, goes towards a bit of healthcare, which is quite interesting. I'll put this all into Yahoo Finance and then we'll have a look at this later. This is Perplexity's output. It didn't actually follow my instructions or what I had in the prompt. It just gave me a summary, which was very strange. So then I had to actually push it to actually give me the summary and then all the tickers and calculate under 10k. It did do that in the end, and Perplexity actually was the closest in terms of like the real-time prices. Actually, it was very, very close. I did have to give it the current prices and then it recalculated everything to under 10k. Actually, it wasn't under 10k, it was actually over 10k, so it still didn't follow the prompt properly, which is quite disappointing because I don't want to have to re-prompt and tell it that, AI should be able to read all the prompt and instructions. It's sort of like gaslighting me a little bit, actually, this particular one. But the portfolio itself is very diversified. It's actually looking at gold, biotech, financials, and small cap value ETFs. So very different to what we've previously seen before. I will put this in, but slightly disappointing in terms of like the one-time prompt. I've had to give it a few multiple prompts to actually get what I want in terms of the output for this one. So this is DeepSeek's output. Basically, it didn't follow my prompt whatsoever. It just provided a framework and a strategy, which is not what I was asking for. I was asking for actual table, I was asking for rationale, and I was asking for them to pick out stocks. So I had to push it again. It did provide me with a sort of stock portfolio in October with a strategy as well. And then I had to give it some real-time prices as well, so it calculated everything. However, it kept on calculating the allocation, the total allocation, incorrectly, and it wasn't just one time, it was 3 times it calculated the total allocation incorrectly. So for example, here the total allocation says it's 10,000. I calculated it to be 8,743 because all of this did not match up when I placed it into Yahoo Finance. And again, still trying to gaslight me. There was another point where it tried to do it again and then calculated something completely different. So for example, here it says it's 10,000, but actually I worked it to be 14,000, so 4,000 off. Like, you can't have accurate data. How can this be a good LLM if you can't just normally calculate a simple allocation total? So be very wary when using DeepSeek, because I think the information that it gives and provides is not accurate enough. So then after pushing it more and more, it's actually given me a portfolio of just 2 items, which is quite surprising. I don't think it even thinks. I think it just has another algorithm to actually sort things out, and it probably forgets what the original intention or the original goal was as well. So it's just given me 2 tickers, SMCI and TDD. That's it. The 2 most affordable stocks. We're focused on AI infrastructure and digital advertising. That's it. So interesting. Very disappointing with DeepSeek in terms of accuracy. But we'll place this in Yahoo Finance and then see how it goes. So here's Google Gemini's output, and it did follow all the instructions in terms of the prompt. However, it did not have all the real-time prices. I did have to give it the real-time prices, and there were 2 things it just followed the instructions very well, actually. So one thing it didn't follow in particular was that when I gave those real-time prices, it just assumed that we were in week 2, and I had to say actually we're still in week 1. But it recorrected everything, provided a rationale, and then it seems like its positions, it didn't really give me too much of a rationale, actually. But it did recalculate everything correct, which is good. But in terms of rationale, again, semiconductor sector is another one that I think all the AIs actually just look into. Actually, all of these are semiconductors, and then 1 biotech as well, and 1 energy, which is very interesting. We'll put this into Yahoo Finance and then see how this one goes as well. So here's all the portfolios now into Yahoo Finance. You can see everything's not performing too well. It is 1 day ahead after market close on the Monday. So everything was purchased on the Monday at market open. It's now Tuesday, so we're waiting for the market to open again. And surprisingly, just taking a look at this, DeepSeek being the absolute worst LLM to use, I don't know how long I spent actually trying to correct its total allocations because it can't calculate properly. It's performing the best in terms of its two symbols that it's actually purchased. So I'm not sure if it's just dumb luck or what's going on. I don't know, but it's still performing the best out of everything. And you can see that Grok's portfolio is performing the worst so far, just a slight almost 1% down at the moment upon purchase. But what I'll do, I'll take every single one of these and I'll place it on the screen so everyone can see exactly what's been purchased and what hasn't been purchased. And I'll do that now. So here's a quick look at what each AI has actually purchased. I'll leave it for a few seconds for each one. You can pause the video at any time to have a closer look. I'll be back next week with more updates. I'll see you later. Bye bye.